Niger Youth Drive 2025 data training. So this evening we'll be delving into the Python class. Okay. So a very big thank you to our sponsors, IHS, and the implementers of the program, OBL Foundation, and Kratos Sustainability Consult. And a very big thank you to our participants joining from across Nigeria and many across the globe. I count it a humble privilege to welcome you on board. My name is Habayomi Okulola. I'm joining from NASA 84 Labs. Okay, so I would want to give a minute or two. Let's raise our hand and let's tell us our names and where we are joining from. Okay, so let's do that. Snappy. Let's hear our voices. Okay, so Yusuf, then Oche. So after Yusuf, Oche will come on board. All right, tell us your name, where you're joining from, and what you hope to gain from this session.
Hello, good evening. My name is
evening.
Yusuf. I'm joining from Osun State. So actually, I learn about data science, basically about Python.
Okay. All right. Okay. Welcome, Yusuf. You're gonna have a good time here. All right. So I think I saw Oche earlier on. Oche, would you love to unmute? Hello, Oche. Hello. Okay. So can anyone confirm if I'm audible? Seems I lost you guys for a second or two.
Yeah, audible. So.
You're audible, sir.
People joining from Esther. Okay. All right. Over to you, Esther. Where are you joining?
Good evening. My name is Esther. I'm joining from Lagos. I hope to use the skills in data science, data analytics to probably move to another department in my place of work if they were, yeah, that's what I want to do. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, you're welcome on board, and it's gonna be a very good time for you here. So we'll be covering our Python programming, look at some machine learning models, which include linear regression for supervised learning, regression issues, and then we'll also look at our logistic regression for supervised learning. Okay, then we're going to play with these models and solve our real life issues with them. Okay, so can anyone tell us that what do you understand by the term data science? So it's a ride. We're gonna be journeying together. Okay, so can anyone tell us what you understand by data science? Hello. All right, so what do we understand by data science? Okay, I believe no one is talking for now. Let me just unmute you all. Let's try. Okay. So data science is a domain, okay, whereby you get to apply mathematics, programming, as well as your domain knowledge. And then these three coming together, you use it to extract insights from data and solve problems. Okay, so we have two words here. We have data and we have science. Okay, so the heart of you extracting inside data, your data is unprocessed information, so a data that's been transformed, and you generate forward information, right? That is processed data. Data in its raw form right now. You now bring in science into it. That is the heart of storing that data. Let me use that word. That is you applying different transformation steps for you to be able to get good insights, and then you being able to apply it to make tangible business decisions. Okay, so it embodies you combining mathematics, programming, and then domain knowledge. So I'm sure many of us on this call, we cut across a variety of discipline. Okay, so in our respective disciplines, we should be able to apply data science. Okay, so Josephine Rorobi mentioned says data science is the use of science algorithms to extract knowledge from data. All right, thank you very much, Josephine. So mathematics, I'm sure a whole number of persons decided not to take mathematics, so they found themselves in art class or so. But right now, let me tell you, you don't need to bother yourself about mathematics. Okay, I'm sure some people dread the course, but it's gonna be a very good and simple introduction for us. Okay, so the mathematics has already been coded, but you still need basic mathematics. Okay, for instance, your addition, x equals x or y equals to mx plus c. Okay, so your basic linear calculations, your basic linear mathematics, you still need it here. And when it comes to programming, we have a variety of language. Okay, however, the one we'll be focusing on in this cohort is Python. Why Python? Because Python is a major tool used across different domains. Talk about data science, data analytics, web development, and many other stuff. So Python cuts across. So there are also many other programming languages. We have Julia, some do Java, some do MATLAB, C Sharp, and all. But we'll be focusing on Python because Python has a simple syntax for us. Okay. So data science is the heart of using algorithms to extract insight from data, being able to make tangible decisions from insight involved problems. So why data science matters? Science. Why do you need to be skilled in data science? For you to be able to make suggestions, for you to be able to make informed decisions, you data science. And like I mentioned earlier, data science cuts across every sector. Okay. So for instance, you go to the hospital right now, okay, and on your say your age, weight, okay, and then your height. They enter this data into a system and then it's able to predict, okay, so maybe it's gonna predict like your BMI, okay, that's the body mass index, okay, so telling you that okay, if this person is at this range of BMI, this is gonna be the effect or the result, and then give you personalized recommendations or solutions. So that is data science for you. Okay, so as well in the okay, there is this AML, okay, and even in for your KYC, I'm sure for as many of us that make use of these fintech applications, I wouldn't mention the name of the product right now. You know, when you want to make some certain transaction, it will tell you, okay, blink, to tell you open your mouth and do all sorts, such that an algorithm has been what processed to match the details and check, okay, does these details match? Then it will proceed. Otherwise, it's gonna reject that process. Okay. So also as well in retail, in entertainment, I'm sure many of us will look through our Spotify list and then we start seeing recommendations. That is based on our previous what listen history. So you can see how data science is coming into place right now. And data science actually powers recommendations, powers predictions and optimization. So for instance, a process that takes about say 2 or 5 days, you can decide to bring in data science to automate that process, okay, such that you are able to save costs and reduce drudgery, okay. And when it comes to terms of our predictions right now, based on data science predict, okay, I'm sure a whole lot of us before we step out the morning, if you are driving, you look at Google Maps, okay. Based on previous history in my ghetto, there's gonna be traffic at so area, okay, and maybe for even for gonna be rain at certain time. Okay, so based on that, you get advice on okay, ensure you go out with an umbrella today and a whole lot more. So we can see even in our day-to-day life, data science actually what matters. So I would love you to start having a good point of view that okay, what I'm learning, how can I apply it in my domain? What can I do with it? So how can I ensure that okay, this raw data is being used to generate smarter decisions. Okay. Then moving forward, we have the data science lifecycle. We've got the data science lifecycle. So how does it come into place? You don't just say, oh, you want to carry out our data science, you want to implement data science. There is a process. You introduction is going to be the basic of the basic. We are not going to be sharing buzzwords here. You'll see that the slides are clean and cool. So the data science life cycle, you defining the problem statement. Okay, what is the issue at hand? What do we need to do? What is that problem? Is it okay? We are trying to resolve the issue of particular region, and why is a particular region having more sales than the other? So it's be a problem statement. Okay, then after your problem statement, you proceed to collect data because the problem statements will guide you into the type of data you are going to what collect. Say, for instance, you want to solve the issue of uh, mortality at birth. Okay, so you need to visit what? Visit hospitals or visit the health website and go and check out for data that mortality at birth. Not that you'll be looking for data relating to malaria, okay, malaria outbreak. So defining the problem is very, very important before you proceed because that would inform the type of data to collect and work. Then after you've collected the data right now, the data comes in a raw form. Okay, so you need to ensure cleaning. So at the cleaning stage, you're gonna spend a lot of time there. Trust me, because garbage in, garbage out. If you're having a not so good data, the result would also be what? Not so good. Okay. So you need to ensure you spend time cleaning, and about 80% of the time is spent on data cleaning. Once you're able to get it right at the cleaning stage, your results will be what? Top notch. Okay, then after you've cleaned the data, you've prepared it in the right format. For instance, you can have the data in a CSV file, you can have it in an Excel workbook, which is in multiple sheets. You can have it as a JSON, which is JavaScript notation. You can have it as a Parquet file, depending on the type of format it comes in. Okay, so you need to prepare your data. And after you've prepared the data, you proceed to what? Analyze it. Okay, what are the insights that we can generate from this data? Actually saying, what are my business questions that I need to what? To derive from the data. You can see based on the business problem, you begin to check it out. This data set, does it contain null values? Does it contain values and a whole lot of things to cover on? Then after you've analyzed the data set, you proceed to what? To model. You proceed to modeling the data. Okay. Now you bring in your algorithms to make future forecasts, to make future predictions. Okay. Then once you're done with your modeling right now, it might not give you the full picture of what you're looking at. So you still need to go back to stage 3, which is data. So you try to clean the data again, you put it in the best, then you iterate again. You come back to the model stage. Once you're at the model stage and you see that, okay, it's giving you what you desire, and you seek to communicate the results, okay, and visualize it. So as a data professional, storytelling must be a part of your core. Okay, you need to know how to present your data. So it's not only about you having the data in tables, you need to be able to bring life out of it, put it on charts, put it on dashboards, generate reports that is that the business stakeholders understand, because that is very, very key. Okay, so for instance, if you work on the data now and you try to generate certain insights and you share with a senior data professional, they don't need to start going through your data setting. All they just need are key metrics, KPI indicators. Okay, sales shoot up by 20% in the month of January. They don't need to see your table at all. You need what? Certain KPIs. So you need to learn how to communicate and visualize your data set. Okay, so most times you might not need to deploy. Okay, and the deployment area now comes in, whereby for continuous use, you deploy and say, okay, and you keep, because on a day-to-day, we generate more data sets, right? So you must ensure that what you update it with the latest information so that the model will be able to train on the new file you expected results in recent times. I'm sure many of us, we've encountered, say, these generative pre-trained transformers, I mean the GPTs, likes of ChatGPT, tell you, okay, as at the time of last update, maybe say 2024, this is what I can give you. And if you go on that, okay, the latest information is yet to be updated on what? On ChatGPT. Sometimes gather new information and train on the existing models so that it can be up to date. So design life cycle, if you skip any of the stages, you'll get a cool and excellent result. So the first stage, you define the problem, you proceed to data collection, cleaning. You must ensure your data in the right format before you proceed to do your analysis, come up with your modeling of predictions, you visualize to stakeholders, and then you deploy. Okay, so but most times it might stop at stage 6. But if you need to go a step further, you proceed to stage 7. And it's an iterative process. So you might come to stage 7, they say, okay, we need to include another business requirement. So that takes you back to stage 1. you get to 7, and it keeps going on that way. All right, so the types of data analysis. I'm sure you might be wondering why, because data analysis is a subset of data science. Okay, so a very good understanding is actually needed. So when we're talking about descriptive analysis, you are trying to ask a question on what really happened. What happened? You are trying to what? Describe a situation. So an example is sales dropped by 10% in July. Okay, so they've described the issue right now. So you might need to start looking at it. Why did sales drop by 10% in the month of July? Is it due to logistic issues? Is it due to inflation? Is it due to availability of manpower? So you begin to what? Dig deep into that. Now we have a diagnostic. Why did this happen? So the why now is you can say, okay, churn rose because fewer ads run. So what is churn? Customer churn means you have existing customers who are no longer interested in a particular product or service. Okay, so if the churn level is high, what do you think is going to happen? That means customers are leaving and the business wouldn't be able to make what much proceeds. Okay, so churn level rose because fewer what ads that were run. That's why oftentimes you go, okay, you'd see that a particular video keeps coming up, keeps coming up, keep coming up. That is if you are able to subscribe to the premium, okay, you keep seeing a certain advert from time to time. That means they are bringing it to your face so that the churn level, they are able to mitigate against that. And then when it comes to predictive, you are trying to ask questions that, okay, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? Okay, so you can say, okay, by next month, sales will likely increase. For predictive now, I talked about the weather app on our phones. Okay, prepare for rain by 7 a.m. tomorrow. It's going to be a sunny afternoon. You know, it's already predicting based on previously existing data that were trained on the models. And for prescriptive now, it's trying to suggest solutions, recommendations, what should be done to these pending issues we have. Okay, so brings in recommendations to be done. You can bring in an idea, say, okay, we need to run a promotion and invest in what more advertisements. Okay, so a variety of this is going to be descriptive what happened. Diagnostic analysis, what you predict, what is it like, and prescriptive things we need to put in place. Okay, got a structured and unstructured data sets. Okay, so I'm sure many of us here might have worked with Excel for now. So sure we must have worked. So and you'll notice Excel comes in what? You have the rows and what the column. It's been formatted in like a what? Like so that's a what? That's a structured data set. It has column headers. It has column headers depicting maybe the serial number, the name column, the age column, sex column. Okay, that's a structured data set. However, we also have the unstructured data sets, which include our text, image, video, and video. Okay, so however, I want you to note that about 80% of the global data is what is unstructured. Okay, so say for instance, you hold your phone with you now as you are walking. You know, these steps counter, even your voice recording as you are making your calls, as you are chatting on your social media apps, all those texts and images are what are unstructured data. Okay, so however, if you still proceed further into data science, you might get to see how these data sets are being cleaned and being made use of. Okay, so structured data sets, they come in like flat files, such as your CSV format in Excel, and then your Excel spreadsheets or workbook. And then now we have our basic data types. Okay, so I would love someone to unmute and tell us what they know about the data types. Okay, so we'll be doing this together. Hello, can someone unmute?
I think as it says, numerical has to do with numbers, account, amount, age. Those are like numbers that it comes in number from 200, 2000, 725, and all of that.
Okay.
Then categorical, they are usually like groups. They belong to a particular group. For example, gender, we have male, female, depends on how the data set is. So you have more genders, more than just the male and female trans and all of that. Then region, of course, you have African, it could be African, Asian, it could also be Nigerian, it could also be Western, Southern, Northern. So those are like groups, more of group-based data. Um, and I
Okay.
think for ordinal dudes, I that's do with like um hierarchy in terms of levels, low, high, mid, average, or intermediate, advanced. That's what I think ordinal is. But I'm sure I'm not too sure.
All right. Okay, you can proceed. Then okay. So let me take it up from there. We have the numerical. Okay. So the numerical actually means you having your own numbers. Okay. And then you having your decimal numbers or your, we call them floating points. Okay. So for instance, age right now, that's a whole number. He or she, the boy is 10 years old, the guy is 5 years old. Okay. And then when it comes to sales, we have the naira and we have the kobo, right? Then when it comes to categorical right now, you know that okay, for gender, it has two values, which are what? Region, it's north, east, and west. So that is what category being. Then for ordinal right now is basically used most times for ratings. Say low, high, medium, good, better, best. And as much as you want to encode your data, then we have for time series. So when it comes to time series data, that one is basically dealing with what? With time. The minutes, seconds, half, day of the week, year, months, and all. Okay. So this is gonna be helpful even as we dive in. And then now, as a data scientist, how do you think? Okay. So how does a data professional think? They think by asking themselves about, okay, we were talking about the data science life cycle at the earliest. We talked about the question, the business problem we want to solve, the type of data that will be required. Okay. So, and once you get the data set, when you are at the stage of when you've cleaned the data, when you are analyzing, you'll be asking yourself, what are the patterns that really matter? Is it that in the month of okay, now let's say for instance, we are working on a sales data set for, let's say, all these beverages. Yes, beverages. Those who sell chill beverages, traffic, or in malls. Okay. We have two type of weather season in Nigeria, right? I want you to unmute and let's communicate together. I'm not the only one doing this. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Can
All
hear
right.
you,
Thank
Sam?
you. Okay. We have two types of weather in Nigeria, right? I mean, the season. We
Yes,
have
sir.
the rainy season, and then we have the dry season.
And the dry.
Okay. So, at what point do you think those that are selling chilled drinks are going to sell more? Is it during the rainy season or the dry season?
Dry season.
Dry season. Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
now, if you now have your data, that's a pattern to look out for. That okay, during dry season there was what high sales. Okay. But if it now gets to another year and you observe that during the dry season there was no high sales of chilled uh drinks and what have you, don't you think you need to start looking out for what really happened on that particular year? Is it that there was maybe a global warming issue that didn't make them to make such sales at that particular time? Okay,
Maybe,
so those are types of patterns we need to look out for. Okay, you can proceed.
for example,
Perhaps
like
it's a
during
Hello,
2020 lockdown. So it's like that.
hello. Okay, during lockdown. All right, thank you very
yes.
much for that. Okay, so
Sensitization
as during the
against
lockdown now, you know, a lot of people were indoor. People didn't move out at all. So that really led to what? Low influx of sales. Okay, so can anyone as well give us further instances?
perhaps there was sensitization against soda. Perhaps there was a campaign, health campaign that swept around the country or the region
Huh?
that are covering. I said perhaps there was a desensitization against soda or drinks when people are now made to prioritize water over like taking
Okay,
drinks.
all right. Okay, thank you very much. Sensitization concerning soda drink. Okay, healthy body, healthy mind. Taking water only. Okay, that's a very good one. Do we have another person to share with us another instance? Okay.
What I want to say is during rainy season, most market women they tend not to really really sell like that because most parts of places are flooded and then people are scared to just go out. Like they feel like rain has fallen. So apart from food or something, it might actually be clothes. It might actually be something else. People get scared to go out. Feel like okay, rain has fallen and then everywhere is flooded. So I just feel sometimes it affects sales and all. So it's just an example.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. May we know your name?
On my end, I feel because during the rainy season, everybody is feeling cold. So we test less, we drink less water, and we need less of all those carbonated drinks. So human wants the need for soft drinks, cold things, they appreciate. So we rather look for hot water, hot tea, and so everybody is like avoiding those kind of consumables.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So we still have more to cover. So as data scientist, what does matter? What can you predict based on the data? And then how can you explain it in a simple way, in the easiest way possible, such that a 5-year-old what can understand? Okay. Now, what are the core skills? So you need programming skills, like I mentioned earlier. We'll be using R for this course. So you can as well use we'll be using Python for this course, and then you can also use R, depending on your specialization. But our scope for this course is Python. Okay. Then you also need to have a good understanding of SQL. So SQL is called a structured query language. Okay. It is used to extract data from databases. Okay, so for instance, your Excel can take about over 1 million rows, but if you still need to, for instance, if you are a salesperson or you are working in, say, the finance sector right now, retail or finance, more data needs to be what collected. You wouldn't be able to what do that any longer. You need to bring in a database. You want to pull data from it. It's not necessarily all the columns that you need to extract. So some certain columns, depending on the type of business question you want to answer. So a knowledge of SQL is very, very important. But mind you, Python, SQL, they are easy and simple. Okay. Then we have our statistics. Statistics is also a very good area you need to be familiar with. Okay. Then we have machine learning and we have data cleaning aspect. So your soft, you need to learn how to tell stories. Okay. Why do we have this? Why this high at this certain time? You give reasons, you craft a story around it. Okay. Then you also need to have a critical thinking. You think critically. Okay. You put yourself in the shoes of your stakeholders. What is my stakeholder thinking? How can he make the most out of this data? As well as business insight as well, the soft skill. Okay. So you need to be thinking on how can we make more money with less resources. Okay. So business insight is cool. So the essential tools you'll be using are Python. So under the Python programming language, we have some libraries that are built on Python, which include the pandas library, which is for data manipulation. Then we have NumPy, which is an abbreviation of numerical Python. Okay. Then we have scikit-learn. This is the machine learning library that we use to train our models. Then R is a programming language. Then for visualization, we have matplotlib, we have Seaborn. So these are visualization libraries built on Python as well that we'll be exploring as we move on. So someone asked earlier, I think that was Esther. Okay, what tools are we going to be using for our class? So we'll be making use of Google Colab. Google Colab is an online integrated development environment, okay, such that everything you need to write your code is already stored and it runs on the cloud. Okay, so provided you have a Google account, you also have access to Google Colab with your Gmail account, your Google account. Okay, so we also have the likes of Cargo that you can run on the cloud. We also have GitHub code spaces. Then we also have a Jupyter. We have the Jupyter notebook. So we'll be exploring the Jupyter notebook on Colab. Okay. Then for our databases, we have SQL, like I mentioned. So SQL, we have different formats. We have the PostgreSQL, we have the T-SQL, Microsoft SQL Server, and a whole lot of them, Oracle. Okay. Then when it comes to building dashboards, you can use Python to build dashboard as well. Okay, using libraries such as Plotly and Dash, using Plotly Express. Then for dashboards, we have Tableau and we have Power BI, okay, which is owned by Microsoft. Okay, so the first icon here is the icon for the Python library. Then this is the notebook. This is Colab. Next is SQL, which is then we have the Tableau logo and the Power BI. Okay, so I'm sure now I always hear about the data. What kinds of roles exist in the data ecosystem? Okay, so for each and every one, they are a full meaning of SQL structure query language. Thank you, Adeni Stephen, for that. Okay. All right. So for a data analyst is someone who gets data sets, brings out business from it, and share with our stakeholders. Okay. While a data has a good understanding about the data set and is able to make future predictions. While a data engineer, think of it as someone who builds okay, where they store the data in and ensures that okay, that data is properly stored in the right format. Okay, so it's a data engineer that does what that does that. Think of it like a building right now. Okay, a building where you want to store your data is the data engineer that brings in just provides access to what the data analyst and data scientist. And then we have the ML engineer, which is the machine learning engineer right now. Okay, these are the team that after the model has been built by the data scientist, they deploy the model. Okay, and when it's time for them to improve on the model, they work on it, especially in production. And say, for instance, now I'm sure most times when it's around this Black Friday, that holds in November, you notice that most of all those retail websites usually shuts down. Okay, so based on it right now, they need to so that is part of the work of after the model is deployed, they monitor them and ensures they work from time to time. And even when there is a high surge of requests, ensure that okay, the model is able to meet the need or requirements at that particular time. Okay, so we'll be moving into the next phase. We'll be going into coding. Right now, do we have any question before we proceed with our codes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Is I was unable to because I'm trying to make a jot, so I was unable to get all the essential tools. So please, I don't know, maybe there's opportunity to flashback on that.
Okay, so for the tools right now, let me share my screen. So how many of us are connected on PC?
I'm using.
Yeah, just hold on.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. I know you're. I can give you a call. All right. So how many of us are at the moment? Hello.
So I'm not so sure we'll get that, sir. What did you say?
We are 20.
And okay, I said how many of us are using our PCs? I mean our laptops and our computers.
I'm currently using my phone, but I can switch to.
Okay, I can see a raise of hand.
Yes, I'm also using my phone, but I can.
Okay.
Can we switch?
All
Can we switch? Can we switch to PC?
okay.
Please, can we switch to PC, or it is not
Yes, you
necessary?
can switch to your laptop. It's necessary. So in case you need to code along. Okay. So you can join on your phone and use your PC to code along.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
okay. So the piece is just for coding.
All right. So I believe you're doing. Let me just to code.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So let me share my. Now let's delve into it. Mhm. Okay. So I have a new tab open right now. Okay. And we want to proceed with checking out our environment that we'll be using. So on the search bar here, I'll search for Google Colab. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can see it. Sure, sir.
Okay. All right. So you'll notice I search for Google Colab. The first result I have says Colab is a hosted Jupyter Notebook service that requires no setup. Okay, I'm sure for some experts on this call, they might have the IDE, which is the integrated development environment, such as Anaconda. So in case you want to practice on your local computer, that is, you do not want to connect to the internet for your practice, you can download Anaconda. Okay, so I'll show you that one shortly. So let me show you that now. Say Anaconda download. Okay, so you can see it says download Anaconda distribution. So Anaconda is a open source package, an environmental system that runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux. So open the link and check out the one that works for you. So you can provide your email address, or you decide to skip the registration. Look out for the type of distribution you are using. Are you using a Windows system, a Mac, or Linux? Then you download your preferred choice. Once you're done, you install it on your local computer, and you will be able to continue with your coding on your local computer. Okay, so for this class, we'll be using Google Colab. Okay, so I'll click
Yes,
on
sir.
this first link. All right, so I'm clicking OK. Yes, you can use VS Code. So if you have VS Code, you can proceed. Dependencies on VS Code, you might need to troubleshoot that later on, such as installing your libraries, you creating a virtual environment, and many more.
Okay. I will just use
All right, so
Google
Yusuf, you
Colab.
can.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
nice, Yusuf.
About the Anaconda, I just want
Yes.
to ask: is there any difference between the Anaconda and the Google Colab, except for the free Wi-Fi you said?
Okay, I didn't mention free Wi-Fi.
No, you said in
Right.
the
I mean,
the
you don't want to run your. Hello.
yes, sir.
All right. So for Anaconda, all the tools you need are already pre-installed on it. So you'll be able to run it on your local computer without connecting to the internet. Okay.
Okay.
While for
Yeah.
Google Colab, it's online, it's in the cloud. So you need to be
Oh,
connected to the internet before you can
okay.
access it. Okay. All right. So
Okay.
moving on, we have our Google Colab here right now. Okay. So you click on, say, a new notebook. Okay, then it's going to launch a new tab. Let me share the new tab now. Okay. All right. So right now we have a new tab, right? You can see I have a untitled 1.ipynb. Okay, so this is the Google Colab environment. I have my code block. So this first one is called the code block. You can see where you have the cursor blinking, and then you have the run cell area. Okay, then if you hover on this code block now, you can see it says do you want to have a code block or you want to have a text block? So what's the difference between a code block and a text block? A code block allows you to write your code and run them, while a text is basically for formatting. Okay, so let me over at the top here and select text. So for this now, you can see it says double click or enter to edit. Let me double click and say data science cohort 2 class. Okay, so here I can decide to do what's formatting. You can see at this other right hand there is giving me a preview of how it's going to look like. So let me say I want to make it bold. You can see it's becoming bolder. Okay, let me say, okay, I want to give it header 1. Can you see what's happening right now? Then once I run the cell, okay, so you can come up here and say you want to insert runtime. You can say run cell, okay, and below, depending on how, and then you can also do your shift and enter, or you do your control enter. Okay. All right. I hope we are following.
I'm lost too.
Don't be lost. Don't be lost. Come back. Which area do you not get to understand? Because
This,
you need to
the first,
familiarize yourself with the environment before we proceed.
I'm sorry. I was trying to follow your part, but when the place you mentioned code or text, you say you should double click or something.
Okay. So I said you should over, for instance, now for this right now, over on it, you'd see code or text. And
Yes.
okay, let's explore these tabs one after the other. If you come to this file tab right now to tell you, do you want to locate this particular Jupyter notebook file you are working with on your Google Drive? Do you want to open a new notebook? Okay. Do you want to upload your notebook? Rename it. So let me click on rename now. So can you see what it did? It brought untitled 1.ipynb. So the file extension is very, very important. Do not rename the file extension. You only rename this untitled one. So let me just say ds underscore cohort 2. Okay, dot ipynb. So once I click outside, you can see the file has been renamed. Okay, I hope we are here. Let's comment. Let's make comments. Okay. Hello.
So we can hear you and we are following.
Okay, I need feedback. Okay, so now we've explored we're exploring the file tab. So if you want to save a copy in your Google Drive, save a copy in your as a GitHub gist, or you want to save a copy in your GitHub. Okay, so GitHub is a version control system. You can go ahead and learn about that later on. You want to save your file, you want to download it as IPYNB, which is a Jupyter notebook, or as a PY, which is a Python file. Okay. Then in case you want to print the file, so you find that under the file menu. Then we have the edit right now. Do you want to undo the last thing you did, which is undo insert cell You want to select all cells, copy selection, you want to paste, find or replace, and do other things. And then coming to view right now, view is talking about the table of contents. Do you want to see the notebook information? Do you want to expand your comments, minimize your comments, or do other stuff? And for instance, do you want to show your code or you want to hide it as well as the output as well? Okay, so you can see that under view. And one thing you need to bear in mind are the shortcuts. Okay, so but not to worry, use the menu first. And in cases whereby your hands are strong, you start working with the shortcuts. Okay, so moving to the next one, which is the insert. Okay, so here, instead of you hovering on the code block or the text cell right now, you can come to insert and say, okay, I need a new code cell, or you need a new text cell. You want to have a section header cell, or you want to see your code snippets. So clicking on code snippets now. So I'll leave you to explore this later on. Okay. Then we've seen insert, we've seen view. So the next one is the runtime. Hello, someone wants to make a comment? Okay, I guess maybe that was a bug. So now the next one for the runtime is run all. So for instance, you have like 10 cells right now. Do you want to run everything at the same time? And one thing about it is it starts from the beginning to what that is at the top to bottom approach. Do you want to run the cells before a particular cell? The next one. Do you want to run this current cell? Or have you highlighted some certain cells that you want to run, or you want to run a cell and the ones below it? Okay. Then we have the runtime type, and then the sessions you are currently working on. So because when you are doing high computation, you will need to get more resources, okay, in terms of credits that you used to work on the cloud. Well, what we'll be working with are just lightweight, so we wouldn't need to subscribe for more resources on the Google platform. Then the tools, the command palette, the settings, your keyboard shortcuts. So, but we wouldn't be exploring this right now. We just work with the defaults and proceed. Then help. This is very, very important. Okay. So there are some frequently asked questions. Maybe you have a question, so you can always check out the help menu and see the solutions that has been provided by certain people who had also gone through that kind of issue before now. Then you can view the release notes. They usually make updates from time to time. So you can always check out the release notes, and then in case you want to look out for code snippets, you want to report a bug by making more tangible contributions, you want to send your feedback, check out the terms of service, you can always find that here. Okay, so now on the left hand side here, you'd see this menu, which is for table of contents. Okay, you can see, so you can always come here, just like your book right now, and come and search, okay, where am I going next? Then the next one is find and replace. You want it to find a particular word and replace. Then the next one is your code snippets. Okay, so I'm sure we are in the era of AI right now. So you can just write a code snippet and say, okay, you want to do a particular task. Okay, so for instance, this first one that is here says accelerating pandas with GPU. What do you want to do? Okay, you want to generate some random data sets, and many more. You can see. So you have the code snippets for the code over here. Then the next one is secrets. Okay. So what are secrets? Secrets are your access keys, like your access tokens. Okay. I'm sure many of us have these tokens that have been issued from banks. Even you do not have the right key, you don't be able to access certain APIs. Okay, so and these secret keys, these tokens, you need not to expose them. You need to store them as well as private. So you can see it says configure your code by storing your environment variables or your keys. So the values you store here are private and is only visible to you only. Okay, so only you are going to have access to keys to the key. So once you save it in here, all you need to do is just call it here using a variable that you saved it with. And lastly, here I have the files. Okay, so for the files right now, anytime you are working on your code block, on your code, maybe you generate a new data set for that particular runtime, it's going to be in this folder. Okay, now you see that it has loaded. I have a upload to session storage that is for this particular session we are on. And the next icon here is you want to do a refresh. And the third one is you want to mount your Google Drive. Okay, I'm sure most times we save our files on Google Drive and you need to access it in your code. So what you can do is mount your Google Drive and then you create a link between your Google Drive. So moving forward to show some hidden files, always click on. So you can see I have this config file which has been hidden. Back. So we've spent some time here. Let's move on. So how is the session going for you? Hope you are getting value.
Definitely, sir.
All right, thank you. Hello. Mention your name and where you calling from.
Me?
Are you chatting with us or you are on another call?
No, I was saying yes to what you said. Like whether we're
Okay.
gaining knowledge.
All right. Okay. So let's move on to our intro to Python. All right. Okay. So this evening we'll be covering the variables and data types. We'll look at control structure, data structures, functions, file handling, NumPy. This is going to be what we'll be covering in Python and even more. So when it comes to variables and data types, okay, so what is a variable and what is a data type? Let me ask, can we respond to that? What do we understand by the term variable? Hello, dear data lords.
Yes, a variable is like container that holds the value for that given data set.
Okay. Please let us always know your name. Tell us your name, then you proceed to answer. Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right.
I'm Sunday.
All right. Thank you very much, Sunday. Okay. Josephine.
Um, variable is a data that can be changed, and the data type is a classification that specify what kind of data it is.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Josephine. So do we have another person that wants to make contribution? Okay, let's proceed. So we have variables, we have data types. Okay, recall earlier on while we were talking about the data types we mentioned we have numeric, right? We have ordinal, categorical, and whole. So a variable, like Josephine mentioned, is, let me put it as a representation of a value. Okay. So for instance, in our basic mathematics, we say x equals to 2. Okay. So the variable is x right now, and then it has a value 2. All right. So in our data types as well, we have the numeric and we have what we call the strings or objects as we proceed. Okay. So here right now in the first code block here, we are having name equals to Chukuma. Okay. So that's a string, or you can as well call it an object. So how do we get this into place? It's just like saying your x equals to, you bring in your inverted comma. That is when you are dealing with text right now. Okay. Then you call it, you say x equals to, say, Lagos. Okay. So this represents a string. Now here you see we have a name equals to Chukuma, goods equals to biscuits, and height equals to, you see this quote here right now for 1.6 is showing that what? It's a string. I'm going to explain that later on. Anything that has a quotation mark to it is a what? Is a string. It's a text. Moving forward, we have the numerical, which I mentioned about whole number and then the decimal place or your floating point. Okay, or your floats. So now we have height to be what? 1.6. That's a floating number. Let me zoom in so we can see more for as many of us that are using our devices to join. Okay, so for height, which is 1.6, that's the floating point, we can have it more and more. Okay, for instance, your 4 decimal place, 5 decimal place, 6 decimal place, depending on how you want it. So we have variable height equals to 1.6, variable age equals 12, we have cost equals to 200. So these two are integer, or you can as well call them whole number. Okay, just a second. All right, so now the next variable we have here is multiplier. We said this is towards 3 decimal place. So anything that has a full stop to it is a what? Is a float. So we have the string. We've taken a look at the string as well as the numerical data type right now. Then moving on, we have the boolean. The boolean. Okay. The boolean here right now, this has to deal with true or false. Okay. Is it true? If true, say yes. If false, say not going, depending on how you want to use it. So here we have agree equals to true. And one thing you would notice here is that what? The true here is highlighted in blue color. Okay. So these are part of color codings you need to also learn about. Okay. So let me type agree now and say equals to true. Do you notice that there was no color coding here? I need feedback, please.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, yes.
you can see that.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So that means there is a particular format you need to write. And mind you, when it comes to programming, case sensitivity is very, very important. and there are some reserved keywords. Okay, what we mean by reserved keywords are the words that the language was actually built on. I mean, the programming language was built on, and you can't use it for any other thing only. Okay. So now for the Boolean, we said agree equals to true, no agree equals to false. And you notice now we now have agreed equals to, we have our true in quotation mark, and then no agreed, no agreed is in quotes false here. So which is the Boolean from these two? Is it the one at the top or the one below? Which one is Boolean?
The one at the top.
The one at the top. All right, thank you. Okay, so okay, so now we've taken a look at something. So I was expecting a question from you guys that okay, all these ones that we are having in green, what does it really mean? I mean, all this text that we're having in green, what does it mean? So no one asked. I think you guys know it, right?
It means comments. Like
I don't know it though.
No, sir,
Okay,
I
your
think it's
name
just a comment.
I think
is just
it's
what?
Sir,
picture like
you
a
comment,
just comment. Like just
you
a like
commented
Okay,
them.
two
That's
comment.
why they are on the screen.
Okay, all right, let's stay muted. Let's stay muted.
And the data type.
Okay. If you want okay, if you want to speak, let's just raise our hand, then I'll check through and ask us to speak. Okay. So now we have this data type here and we have an hash to it. Okay. So that's a comment in our code cell. So what can anyone comments mean?
Those are codes that we don't want them to appear when we actually run our codes. They are like text that we don't want them to appear when we run our codes. So when you comment it out, it will not appear like the format it's coming from. It will not appear when you run your code.
Okay. Okay. All right. Who is going for us again?
So, sir, what was the question, sir?
Can you explain comments? Comments in programming.
So,
Yeah, Daniel, you have the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
Uche, you can proceed.
Hello, sir.
Hello. All right, Daniel,
Yeah,
proceed.
yeah, it's Daniel. It's commenting. It is used, like she said, commenting is it has two functions. The first function is for you to know for you to know what you are doing step by step, so that even if after writing the code you come back after a long while, you can still remember the way you followed through your steps. And then
Okay.
is now, yeah, and then the second function is why you comment it is so that it doesn't run with the main code that you have written, so that
All
it
right.
does.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Russo Gene has a comment here. She says, I don't know if it's a he or she. Says, comments is a line in your code that Python ignores when running the program. So it's meant for humans to read and not the computer. And Josephine has it that a comment in programming is to explain your code for others reviewing the code and also documenting each step of your code. That's fantastic. Okay. So I'll call you guys later on. Thank you, Yusuf and Oche. So I'm sure by now we understand what the comment is. So even if I share this Jupyter notebook with you right now, based on the comments, you are able to understand that, okay, this is what this person is trying to work on here. So I will plead with you as you are starting your data journey, as you are working to the top of your data career, please and please learn to comment your code. It is very, very important, okay? Such that when they wake you up from sleep, you can explain what you're doing. Or they don't even need to wake you up. Once they see your code, you already know what you wanted to do, and now you were trying to implement the steps. Okay? So these are called comments. So we have the single line comments, which is this one that you have a single hash to hit. So let me make that now. So you have this is single line. Single line comments. And then we have the multi-line comments, which is your doc string. Okay, so how do you bring in the multi-line comments? You use your create three inverted commas. Okay, so then you leave your space. Okay, so you can see I have a 1, 2, 3, and I have another 1, 2, 3. Then in between now, you can always say this is a multi-line comments. Do that now to start writing my hash, hash, hash every single time. So this covers for what line comments. So you can have, see, I have 3 different lines right now. Okay. All right. So let's proceed. We have the conditional statements under control structures. When we are talking about control structures now, I'm sure a lot of us would have done, when you want to get something in the market, if you do not see brand A, then buy brand B. True or not true? Hello.
Very
Okay,
true.
Elijah.
Sir.
Yeah, it's very
Okay.
true.
Okay.
Okay.
Any
I actually
question,
have a
Elijah?
question, sir.
Or comment?
Yes, sir. You want to ask a
Okay.
question concerning what you did last, where you wrote, this is a multi something something. I can't really see the text again around that comment part that you were explaining the other time. So why did you? Why is it
Okay.
that immediately you wrote the first line, it was like you pressed tab and it went. It was not. It was not. It's not on the same line with the first thing that you wrote. Exactly
Yes,
this.
I intentionally did that. Okay. So, for instance, now let me go back to the main line. Like this, right? I wrote
Yes,
this
sir.
is a. Okay. So I just started to press my enter key to the next line. Then I pressed my tab. Okay. So your tab gives you like 4 spaces. So you can keep pressing as long as you wish. Okay.
Okay, but sir, why is it like that, sir?
What like that? I just
Yes.
started to write it so that you can see it that way. I can decide to bring
Oh,
it back in now. So
oh,
this is it. I brought it back in. I just decided to write it or format it that way. So I guess maybe we should just leave it this way then. Okay. So
okay.
this
Thank
is
you,
a
sir.
multi-line comment.
Oh,
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Elijah. So I was
thank you, sir.
mentioning here about conditional statements. Thank you. Mentioning about conditional statement that okay, you want to send someone on an errand. If you see A, then buy it. If you don't see A, then what? Buy B. So conditional statements, that is where your if and else statements comes into play. Okay. So we
Sorry,
had a
please, my
scenario
hand.
before.
Sorry, please, can you hear me? My hand. I raised my hand. I think you didn't.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. You can
Um.
proceed at $.
All right. Thank you. So it's still about what you showed to us earlier. The single. I think single comments and the other one. So this is just to ask, what's the difference between both of them?
Okay. So the difference between both is that for single line comments, Okay, you just need to have your comments on just this single line only. So if I should come to the next line now and say hello, okay,
Yeah.
so you can see that it's not being commented at all. So instead of me, if I have a long text to write, so instead of me
Okay.
putting this and then I come again,
Yeah.
I say go. I come again, I
Mm.
say okay, tell. So that way, my code is not gonna look neat and clean. So
Mm.
it's better I make use of the multi-line comments.
All right. Thank you. Understand now.
Okay. All right, welcome. Okay, so we have a scenario before us. We said we are before a website and the only entry route is if we are above 17 years. Okay, so let's try this in a Pythonic way, right? I'm sure most of our TV plays right now. You see maybe on your DSTV or GoTV. Parental guidance is advised for children under the age of maybe 13 or 16, as the case may be. Okay. So here now we have we've defined some variables. We said Ogunse age is 29. We said Paul's age is 65 and Kemi's age is 2. So let's also write this right now. So let's say we have our own scenario we want to paint right now. Recall this Nigeria Youth Drive training is for ages within what? 18 to 45 years, right? Am I there?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
we can
sir.
hear you.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah. Nigeria Youth Drive training accepts 18 years to 45. Okay, let me just bring this in and say 18 to 45 years during registration, right? So now how do we bring this to play in a Pythonic way? We would have our what? If and else statements. Okay, so we'll be asking some certain questions right now. So let me check those we have on the call. I think Yusuf has answered our questions. I think Esther. Permission to use your name. Oh. Let me know. Let's secure permission before you go and raise BP. Raise litigation now. Hello.
Permission granted, sir.
You
Permission
can use
granted.
that.
Okay, so mention your name so I can type your name as a variable now.
You already typed it
So
before, Ogunshe.
Oh, so that means you were in the morning class. What are you doing here
Yes, sir.
again?
Yes, sir.
Oliver Twist.
So,
Okay.
someone who
So,
wasn't in the
okay.
morning class is here, Amaka.
Okay, okay, welcome, Amaka. I think you're just joining in, right?
Yusuf,
Yes, thank you so much. It was so
Okay.
rainy and it affected my
Okay.
connection.
Yusuf.
All right. Okay. So we have Yusuf here as well. Okay. So we have these three participants right now. Now we said, okay, let's say Gunshe is say 25, right? And let's say Amaka's age is 16. This is an example, okay? Then for Yusuf, we said Yusuf is 45. Okay, so you'll notice something here right now because I wrote this as what? As numeric. Okay, so in constructing our if and else statement right now, we say if, let me bring this in, we're going to say age is greater than 18, right? it should return our print statement. So when you want to print to screen in Python, your Jupyter notebook, you make use of what we call the print statement. Okay, so you write print, you open your brackets, and then what you want to print to screen, you have it this way. You say print, you can proceed with registration. Okay, then if Ognisha is less than 18, what is going to happen? Then you have what? You would notice something now. When I pressed my enter, there was a shift to under print. So you need to bring this back. So you ensure that what it aligns with your if. Then you say else, you give it a column, then you say print, you must be within the age bracket of 18, okay, to 45 years before you can register. All right. Okay. So now let's run this cell. So for you to run your cell, you click on this play button here, or you do Control plus Enter. Okay. So now let me run this. So it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up. Let me see. All right. Okay. So now we have our. Let's stay muted. Let's remain muted. Okay. All right. Okay. So just a quick information right now. Okay. Recall we mentioned that your attendance really counts towards your participation. Okay. So please, when you are joining the call, always join with your name. Okay. So the person that is joining with like a phone number right now, 350-365-991. Okay. So please try and reach out or edit your name. Okay. That is very, very important. So this applies to each and every one of us. Let's use our names. Okay. If possible, your first name and your last name. Okay. So for instance, now I can see someone having a single name here. We can have a good number of persons having the same name, such that your attendance is not being classified for another words person. You see where data integrity now matters. All right, that's just by the way. So now we said, okay, who wants to make a comment?
So I was trying to say that I will correct what you just said now. I'll edit and write my name. That's all.
Okay. Keep on taking notes. Okay, now, so we see here now that Ogunsha's age is greater than it. Hence, it told us that what he can proceed with what registration. However, let's bring in Amaka's age here right now. Okay, you can see all I'm just doing is just to replace my conditional statement. Let's run this. What do we have? You can see because Amaka's age is 16. Okay, and it's less than 18. What did it say? It says you must be within the age bracket of 18 to 45 years before you can register. Okay, so that would just say, oh, hello sis, if you can't find brand A, buy brand B. This is how you write it in Python. Okay, so how many of us are going to try that? Hello. I guess I can proceed. Sir? Okay,
Like we
Bolu
should
Atife,
practice on.
you can proceed with the question. Yes, you need to practice.
So
Hello, Bolu Atife.
I'm just trying to tell you that we are going to practice that. That's just what I'm trying to indicate. So
Okay, all right, thank you very much. So we can proceed with that. Okay, so aside from the if, okay, if and else statement, we also have the if, the else statement, and then the elif. So the elif is called else if, but the short abbreviation is called elif. Okay, so how do we bring in the, that means we are going to be having like 3 stages now. Okay, so let me copy this and just improve on it. So if elif and then else statement. Okay, so I begin by saying, oh, if Amaka is greater than 18, proceed with registration. Okay, then I can say elif. Okay, so can someone share the Pythonic way for this? I think I have a chat. Rachel. Okay, what are you gonna do, Rachel? Hello.
we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so for the elif now, the elif is just like a condition. Okay, so if Amaka is greater than 18, you can proceed with registration. Else, if let's say, let me just copy this. Amaka age is let's say less than 25. Okay, so what can we do to this? What do we print, guys? Hello. Okay,
So we didn't
I
get
think
that.
let's.
You must be within the age bracket.
Okay, we have the else statement here. I want us to have like 3 conditions, right? 2 conditions right now, and one last one that is going to negate it. Okay, let's say if Amaka is less than 18, okay, you should print you,
And proceed with
let it
registration.
print you are
You
yet
are not
to
eligible.
be, you are not eligible. Okay, okay, then if Amaka is now greater than 18,
And
let's
you are
tell her that
eligible.
you can proceed with registration.
Yes.
Okay, we should do what? Do this as I want to make this one. Let me make it less than 25. Okay. Mhm. Less than or equal to this. So this one is you are eligible, right? You are eligible. And then the last one is you must be. Let's try this. Okay, we already have this in memory. Let's run this. I'm expecting something. Good. So now here we have an error called syntax error. Can anyone tell us where the error is coming from?
Yes, I am. That's else around that I make Amaka side. You wrote elif instead of else. I don't know if
Okay,
I'm correct.
okay, said around Amaka use elif instead of else.
Yes.
Okay. So can anyone see the screen and tell us what they are seeing?
Yes, so it's it's a syntax error. So it's something with the code, I think. So the less equals is written incorrectly.
Okay, your name, please. Let's always tell our names and then.
Oh yeah, it's Josephine.
Okay, just okay. So here right now we have what we call the syntax error. So dear data scientists, dear Pythonistas, it's very, very important we understand codes.
Right,
Okay.
sir.
And why are we having certain errors? So you notice there it says file temp input Python, it says on line 4. Okay, so if it was to be that I turn on this line number now, you'd see this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is line number 4 here. It says I have a syntax error, and it was being pointed to me, says invalid syntax, where I have this equal to and less than. Okay, let's bring in the equal to sign here, and let's rerun the cell. Let's see what we have. Okay, so can we see now that the code ran successfully? Hello.
Yes, sir. We
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at first I knew there was going to be an error. I intentionally left it and said, okay, let's play with it, because how you learn when it comes to programming is by what? Committing certain errors like this, such that you'll be able
Errors.
to understand. Okay, so we have different types of error. Okay, we have syntax error, we have value error, type error, and all. So it's very, very important that we familiarize ourselves with this. So this one that has to do with the logical conditions right now. I mean, the equation syntax equal to less than, greater than, plus, minus. So you could see that I pointed it out and said that was a syntax error. So when we are talking about if, elif, or else statements, so it's basically used for in cases such as your, let me say, your school results, okay? Whereby they say, okay, if the student scores above 70, he has an A grade. Else, if he scores greater than or equal to, say, 60, he has a B grade. Else, if 50 and above, he has a C grade. Else, the last one will now be else, if less than 40, then he has a certain grade, okay? So that is how we make use of this. There's also what we call the nested if statements, but we wouldn't be going into that right now. So we've taken a look at the if, elif, and else statements. Okay, so now another one under
Is
conditional
that a
structures is
question?
what we call the loops. Please proceed with your question, your
All
name and
right.
your question now.
All right. I'm Abisola. So I just want, okay, so I have no idea um about all of this. I'm very, very, like, this is my first interaction with programming and all of that. I think I have some experienced people in the
Okay,
house. I just have a question. All of this elif, else, if you're using, how do you know you're supposed to use it? So when I'm, because this is like, I don't know, for me, because I'm new to it, it's like a lot of things at once. So how do I know the point to use if? How do I know the point to use elif? How do I know the point to use else? Where do I, is there a place where all of these are kept as vocabularies and like this is the meaning of it and this is when it should be used? Like I just have a lot of things running
okay,
through my mind because it looks as though you know what to use. So how do we know what to use?
okay, all right. Okay, so before we started this, if, else, if, and else, we mentioned about control structures. Okay, so what do control structures do? Is such as if you are trying to see between two alternatives. All right. So how do you bring in this control? Is by writing this kind of statement called the if or else. So I gave an instance whereby you say, okay, you want to get, maybe you want to get, what's the name of this pen? I think we have a Lucky Biro and then we have Big Pen, right? And we have this 4-in-1 type of pen. I recall we used back in the days. I don't know if they still sell it now. Okay. So, you can
Yes.
say, okay, if you are going to the bookstore, my best choice of pen is Lucky Pen. In case you are unable to get Lucky Pen, then you can help me do what? Buy Big Biro. Okay. So, for some persons, they love big because the ink dries quickly and all, depending on your choice right now. So that is where the if and else statement comes into place. Okay. I hope you got that,
Yeah.
Abisola.
I heard
All
you.
right. So what? All right. So conditional statements. If this is true, then return this. Otherwise, give me this. Okay. It's just like you visiting your ATM right now. It checks through your account balance and says, oh, you have sufficient money in the account, then it proceeds to dispense. Otherwise, it will tell you what? It will give an error message saying what? Insufficient funds, right? That is in the case of ATM. So that's how the control is being placed as well. So by the time you get along, you just think about it that, okay, if I do not get this, what is the next thing I'm going to get? Okay.
Mm.
All right. So let's on. So we have the next one, which is called for loop. Okay. So when it comes to a for loop right now, it's just as if you say, oh, I have a long list of things to do, and you don't want to be repeating it from time to time. So how do you do this? We work with what we call the for loop. So what a for loop does is it iterates through the variable you are giving it, and then it gives you your result. So here right now, we said we have a scenario where we want to print out the letters in the variable called city. Okay. So now I have city equals to Barcelona, but I now decide to start saying print B, print A, print R, print C, print E, Lona, one after the other. You see that this is a very long process, right? However, with just a few lines of code, I'm able to proceed and print a whole lot of things at the same time all together. So this stress of me duplicating prints one after the other, the for loop is going to what? Eradicate that for me in just an instance. So watch and see. So I have say city equals to Barcelona, and I say for letter in city, okay, print the letter. Okay. So for letter in city, print the letter. Let me check. I think I've got a chart. Okay, please, who could do that? Go over the session with me. I just got off work. Okay. All right. So the group chat will be open soon. So you guys might relate and see someone who would check in with you. All right. So says I have a question. If the person's age is below 18, what would the output be in reference to the elif statement? Okay. So I'll leave you to try that out and share your results with us, Rachel. So we'll be looking forward to that. Okay. All right, so now moving on. We said we have our city equals to Barcelona. Instead of us going through this step above, so for for loops, we just write for letter in the city. We want you to print each and every letter here right now. So on running this code cell right now, it's going to give us what? To print each and every letter Barcelona in one word. Okay, so Let me bring in an example here for the for loop. Okay, so here now I have a list of states here. Okay, a list of states in Nigeria plus the city capital, right? So I have Abia, Delta, Abuja, Lagos. So this one that I have here is called a list. Okay, you would notice I have Abia, Delta, Abuja separated with a comma, and I have my square bracket. So this is called what? A list. Then I say, okay, for state in states, I want you to print states. Okay, for states in states, I want you to print states. So what it's going to do is that it's going to start printing. It will give me Abia, give me Delta, give me Abuja, give me Rivers, give me Ogun, one after the other. Okay, let me run this cell. So can you see what we have here? We have Abia, Delta, Abuja, Rivers, Ogun, Lagos, Edo. So what the for loop does is that it helps us to cover repetition. Okay, so I don't need to start repeating steps like we did earlier up here. So instead of saying print, Abia, print, Delta, print this, print that. Okay, okay. So that really helps us to cut through that.
I
Okay,
have a
I need a.
question.
Okay, you have a question, Esther. Okay, proceed.
Why is it printing all the states when you requested for states? What happens to
Okay,
the plural?
all right.
Like
Okay,
the
all right. Let
syntax?
me explain that now. When we are talking about for loop, okay, you have your for. Let me over on this and see if the documentation is going to come up. So documentation is very, very important. When we talk about for loop, you need to have an iterator, okay? Iterator, iterator. So the iterator I'm using here is the state. So I can decide to change this state to another thing else. So let me say for capital, or let me say for word in states, and then print word. Okay, I'm looking at like this word is the reserved word. So can you see what I have now? For word in states, this state is our variable name. Okay, so I say for everything you see in this list, for every item you see in this list, print that item. Okay, for word in the list called states, print a particular word. So that's why you see it coming one after the other. I hope that explains it.
Okay.
Hello. All right.
Thank
Okay. So we've seen for loop right now. Okay. So then we also have the for loop with a range. For instance, if you want to print a range of numbers, how do you go about that? Okay. So loop with a range. So for instance, if you want to print a range of numbers starting from 1 to 15, how do you do that? So here now you see I wrote for I in range
I have a
1 comma
question.
16. Please proceed
Please,
with
I
your
have a
question, your name
question.
and your question. Your name and your
Okay,
question, please.
It's Vivian Onchege speaking. Please, my question is,
Okay.
when we are giving this command, let's take for instance that there are actually words that started with the same letter. Let's say like you listed this and these states now. If there is Anambra, Abia, or like that started with A, letter A, but they are scattered, not actually in alphabetical order. Is there a way to give it a command for it
Okay.
to select them alphabetically?
Okay. All right. So that would be an advanced progression. You might decide to say, okay, sort alphabetically and then try to print them out one after the other. Okay?
Okay.
So let me just add this. This is Abakaliki here going, right?
I have
Hello.
a question.
Okay, proceed with your question.
Yes, sir. My name is Yusuf. Actually,
Okay, Mr. Yusuf.
when we start this tutorial, so you explained all those tabs for us one after the other.
Okay.
So and
Okay.
you also mentioned a shortcut or something like that. So,
Okay.
but you said we don't need shortcut for now. That we just need to follow this. Maybe as time goes on, shall we going to master the shortcut. But right now, I noticed that all these commands you are in, maybe you are inserting. Are you using shortcuts or like I don't understand? Or is there a way you are doing it
Okay.
that
Okay. So for me to run my cells now, I use control and enter. Or I do, if you want to run the cell only, you do control and enter. But if you wanted to create a new code block for you, you do shift and enter. Okay. So for instance, this one now, I can decide to click on the play button. Okay. Or do shift and enter. Then once I run it, it will bring my cursor down to the next cell over here. Okay. Is that clear, Mr. Yusuf?
yes, sir, yes.
Okay. All right. So for range of numbers now, we have for range, the last item, it has a start value. Okay. This is the start value. I said I want it to start from 1, and then it has the stop value. However, the stop value is always -1. Okay. -1. So I want to print from numbers starting from 1 to 15 right now. So my last number here is going to be 16. Okay, so I can see that 15. So on running this now, you see what it's going to give me. Gave me what? 1 to 15. Okay, so note this now. And one thing with Python is that the index starts from 0. So we'll still talk later about that. Wow, it's close to 9 p.m. We still have some stuff to cover. I think we need to rush a little now. Okay, we are almost getting closer to the end of class. Okay, so in terms of this range right now, so for range, one thing you can always do is you can hover on the. Can you see my screen, please? Can you see what popped up?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
All
yes.
right. Okay, so this is called documentation. Okay, so right now it says for this function called range, it has a stop, it starts rather, it has a stop, and then a step. Okay, so for instance now, the start value is going to be what? It's going to be inclusive. That is, it's going to be added to the result that's going to give me. And when I had my stop value, the stop value, always remember, it will be subtracted by what? By 1. Okay, then when I now have the last value there, which is the step, it's going to make it like add it up together. Say for instance now I want to do division of 15. Okay, let's include a step of 3 to this code right now. Let me just do a copy and paste and create a new code block cell. Okay, so to create a new code block, you can just click outside your code block and just type B on your keyboard. It will create a new code block. So those are shortcuts you learn as you journey. So let me give a step of 3 here. Let's see what it's gonna give us now. So can you see what we have here? It printed from the starting number was 1, then it added what? 3. 1 plus 3 gives us what? 4. Okay, then 4 plus 3 again gives us 7. It added another 3 steps. Then 7 plus 3 gave us 10. Then 10 plus 3 gave us 13. So now 13 plus 3, what is it going to give us? will give us 16, right?
15.
16. However, we said our range is to stop at where? At number what? 15. That's why it can't proceed further. But let's change this one to 17 and let's see what it's going to give us right now. So can you see where it stopped now? It stopped at where? 16. So on reaching the limit, you can see that what? It didn't proceed again. Did we get what just transpired now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it's a step of 3. So that's what we did here. Then let's move on. So we have data structures. This is very, very important. Let's quick tab on this. I already explained the list earlier on where we used it for the states, right? Okay. So what does a list does? A list helps to hold numbers or it might be strings together as one. Okay. So by the time we proceed into creating data sets, you see how these are lists and dictionaries, how they work and in and. So how is the class going? Hope we are getting used. So a list is like a ordered collection of items. Okay. So often reading one after the other, like you see here now, we have an alphabet list. Alphabet, you have your alphabet from A, B, C, D, E, F, G down to Z, right? Then we also have for Niger Youth Drive data science students. I think these are names of students. We have Bomi, we have Charles, we have Charlie, Akbos, we have Udeme. I think we have Vivian this evening, right? Okay, let me pick from the names I have earlier on. So I don't get the suit. Okay, I have Paul, I have Amaka, I have Yusuf. Okay, so let me add Amaka. This they've given consent. Hope I'm safe, guys, to proceed. And I have Yusuf here. Okay, so
Adam
this is a
was.
list of Niger Youth Drive data science students, and I have items. So let me chip in something here. You'd notice that here, this Niger Youth Drive data science students, it's been written in what? Lowercase all through, right? And an underscore is used to connect them, making it what? A single word. Now, when you are writing your variable names, there are certain rules to writing your variable names. Your variable names cannot start with a number. You can't say 9 equals to 9. Hmm? You see that what? It will throw what? Throw an error. Are you saying that? So now your variable names, you can have it as lowercase and then add a number to it. Okay, you can say variable 9 equals to 9. You see that what? The code ran successfully. And most times again, you can't have a space between your variable name. You can say variable, say state. Take note of. Can you see? You are even having some errors it's saying view problem, variable is not defined. If you over on states now, what error is it giving? Statement must be separated by semicolon. If I should run this now, you see I have a what? Syntax error again. But if I should say, okay, let me join them together and run, you see that what? I got a success here. And another one I want to show you is joining with underscore. If you run this, no error will be returned. So please and please, this is very, very important when defining your variable or assigning your variables. Okay, let me just put this and say variable assignment. So if you need shortcuts for your comments, just press Control on your keyboard and press strike the forward slash key. Control and forward slash will give you the comments here. Okay, so we have a list of alphabets, Nigeria Drive, and then we have some items. We have Chukudi, we have some numbers here. So for list, you can have strings, which is your objects now. I mean strings and then numbers all together in a what? In a list. Okay. So for this alphabet right now, we wrote a statement here. We said print alphabets, and then it's printed what? A, B, C, D, E, F. What we have here. So, however, in the case whereby you want to add more alphabets, okay, to an existing list, so that is what we call append. To add more items to your list, we call that what? Append. So all we just need to do is just call the variable name, which is alphabet. We call the function, we say dot append, and we say Z. Okay. So okay, prior to now, we only have A, B, C, D, E, F, right? Let me say we want to add G to it. So let me run this. It says, now notice something. We have another error here. Can someone tell us what this error means? Now that we are encountering error, let's be debugging it together. That's how we grow. Hello.
Yes, I
Hi.
was still trying to check.
Okay. Where is Josephine? Okay, Josephine is on the call. Okay. Josephine, could you please help us out?
I think you will need to um assign alphabet as a variable.
Okay.
So you say alphabet equals alphabet dot append.
Okay, but I want you to take note that we already have this alphabet here,
Oh, okay.
but why is it giving us an error message here now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who is there? Tell us your name.
My name is Yusuf.
Where?
My name
Okay,
is Yusuf.
so
So
can you
I thought,
explain? Okay,
I
Mr.
thought,
Yusuf.
yes, I thought the append should come first before the alphabet.
Okay, all right. So, um, when we want to debug, let's always take a look at the error and read what the error is saying. Okay, so as not to, because we need to manage our times and ensure we are brought to speed. So now, if you take a look at this error, it says there's a name error, and then it gave us the trace back. It said in line 2, you'd see this arrow pointing towards line 2, alphabet dot append. You want to add G as a print alphabet. It says what? Name error. That is the variable name alphabet is not defined. Are we there on the call? Are we on the
Yes,
call?
yes.
Sure, sir.
Okay. All right. So you notice that here earlier, I haven't run this code block. Can you see? It's just
Huh?
blank here. Did you get that now? So let me run this code block now. Let me run it. Now I've run it into memory. Okay, that's I've saved it into the code memory. Then let me now run this cell again. Can you see what happened? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sure,
sir.
sir. The alphabet is not defined.
All right. So that
We're
tells us
just
that what
adding so like
that alphabet that alphabet variable was not defined, and yet I was trying to call it. So that tells you that what Python is a stepwise programming language. That is, before you decide to call anything at the bottom, it must first have been saved to memory prior to the time of you what calling it. Okay. All right. So we've been able to append. So if you still copy this and say, okay, you want to add another letter to it, you can always what? Add items to your list. Okay. All right. So the next one is for loop application with list. We already used this earlier on while printing our states. So for your for loop now, we want to print each and every of this name one after the other. So I'll just say, okay, I have my variable name called Niger Youth Drive Data Science Students. Let me copy my updated list from here then. Let me just keep this and say I have this. So I'm saying for name in Niger Youth Drive Students, print their name. So what you have here, the iterator value must be the same that you have in your print statement. So if I run this now, you'll see I have what? Bome, Charles, Charlie, Akpos, Udeme, I have Vivian, Amaka, and Yusuf. Okay. So if I should rerun this again, because I'm trying to correct this Udeme to capital U right now, I don't have to start typing print Bome, print Charles, print Charlie, print Akpos. So with for loop, life is easier and faster. Okay. So now let's proceed to our list. Please, I can't see anything. I think I mistakenly pressed minimize. Okay. Press maximize so that the screen can come up the grow live. Okay. All right. So let's come to list indexing now. So when we're talking about list indexing, it means we want to see through our list. Okay. Let me call this list indexing. All right. So in Python, our index starts from 0. Okay. Like your normal mathematics, you say your numbering starts from what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But in Python, your indexing starts from 0. That is, this Bumi that you have here is on number 0. Charles is on number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. On a normal day, you count this as what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But in Python, list indexing is what? Starts from 0 and it stops at 7 for this list that we have right now. So if we want to access the first item in this list, we'll call the name of the list, which is the variable name, and we have our square bracket and type 0. On running this now, I will get Bumi. Can you see that? So now let me create another one and say Niger Youth Data Drive Students. And let me call this number 5. If I should run this number 5 now, you can see I have Vivian here. Okay. So that tells you that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what? Is Vivian. So can someone tell me what I'm going to do if I want to check on a post? What index does a post fall into? Okay, Tikulai, maybe you should just try to rejoin the call. Okay, you can't find the maximize button. So on what's the index number for a post?
Number 3, sir.
Number three.
Number 3.
Is
How did this number 3? Let's calculate. For me, it's number what?
0.
0.
Charles is number what?
1.
1.
Charlie,
2.
2.
and then our post is 3, right? Okay, let's check.
Yes.
Let's check. Let's check for number 3. Let me run it. Okay, number 3 is our post. All right. So you guys are doing excellently well. So another thing again you need to notice, now we are moving from the left towards the right. That is, you move 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to where you are going to. However, if you want to access the last item on the list. Say for instance, you don't know you have a large data set, okay, and you need to access maybe the last item or the second to the last item or the fourth to the last item. What do you think can be done in such scenario?
We can use a loop list indexing.
Indexing. Okay. So
Loop.
let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. So for the loop list indexing now, let me I want to create a new code block. Okay. So let me say print Nigeria you drive students, right? So I've already printed this right now. I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to access Amaka. What do you think I'm going to do? So now we want to move from the right to the left. That is, we want to move backwards now. From this, we want to go back like this. So to access the last item on this list, you'd have to do what we call type -1. Okay. So once you run this -1 now, you'll see that I have what? I have Yusuf, right?
Yes.
Hello. And if
Yeah.
I say, okay, this
Yes,
is
sir.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I should type 7 here, because I can actually see this list, you'll see that what I still have what? Yusuf. So if you're counting from left to right, you start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're counting from right to left, you start with what? The negative. Okay? So if I should say I want to access Vivian now from using the negative style now, that is from right to left, I'll say this is Yusuf is minus what?
Three.
-1.
Hello. Yusuf is -1. Amaka is what? -2. Vivian is
Two.
-3.
-3.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So on running this, I have what? Vivian. Okay. All right. So if you want to print your Nigeria Drive students, you want to do your list indexing moving forward. Okay. That is, you already have this is Nigeria Drive student list. And then you now say, okay, for I in Nigeria Drive students, you mean for each of these words, you want to access the first letter of their names. Okay. This is where this I and then index 0 comes into place. So if I should run this now, you can see I have PCCAUA. Let me delete this. Let me delete this guy. So here I have Bumi, Charles, Charlie, Akposu, Deme, Vivian, Amaka, Yusuf. You can see I have what? BCC, which is the first letter of their what? Alphabet. Okay. So let me comment this because we need to speed this evening.
Sorry, sir. I
So
want to ask a question.
okay.
All right, sir. Boluwatife, I want to ask that the I, what does it stand for, or is it just that we've noted that if you want to actually look for a first letter of something, we're going to use letter I, or there's actually a word that it stands for?
Okay, so the letter I here is like our iterator that we are using. So in Python, you can make use of I, you can make use of J, you can make use of K, any letter as you wish. Okay, so that is, we are using I as our iterator here.
So how will
Okay,
it actually knows that we are trying to figure out the first letter in a particular word?
all right. So how it knows that we are trying to figure out the first letter is, here we said for I in Nigeria, you drive. So this one is going to pick for every word, okay, in the list. right? Now we now said for this print statement now, the reason why I had to put a space is so I can comment it. We say print the first letter of the word, okay, or of the item. Let me call this item now. Print the first letter of the item. Okay. So for I, which is we represent it as an item in Nigeria you drive students. Okay. Let me bring in this Nigeria you drive student list again over here so we can see. Hello Abisola. Is Abisola still on the call? Okay, let's proceed. So we have a list of Nigeria students now. We have our task. Our task is print the first letter of the names. Okay, so say for each item in Nigeria you drive students, print the first letter of the item. So here now, before now we usually have we just say for I in this, print what? I, right? If I should run this, can you see it gave me this? Bome, Charles, Charlie, Akbos, Udeme, Vivian, Amaka, and Yusuf. All right. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now recall we just created a Python indexing. Okay, whereby we mentioned that for the first letter here is what? Will be what? Would have our square brackets. The first letter will be what? Index 0. So if we want to see this letter B, it will be index 0. If we want to see letter C, it will be what? Index 0. So if I should run this now, can you see? I'm only left with B, which is starting Bumi, C starting Charles, C starting Charlie, A starting Akpos. If it were to be the second word I want to see, which is UHHKD, I'll just call this one. I'll change it from 0 to what? 1. Okay, so this will be print second letter of the item now. I should run this. Can you see what I have? I have UHHKD. I have IM and then U. Hope you got that.
Yes,
Sure,
sir.
sir.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll be taking a look at dictionary. Then we call it an evening. Okay, then you guys need to go and rest. So for dictionary, what it has is it has a pair of items. Okay, it has the key and then it has the value. All right. So for instance, now you have like your, what do I call it now? Like your lock. Yes, your lock. It has the male and then the female. Okay. Now, so how does the dictionary work? How does a dictionary work in Python? So the dictionary itself, like I mentioned, consists of the key and then the value. So such that it only has a unique key. So is that key that is used to like hold the representation, it's representative of its value. So for instance, now name is the key to this Ayomide that you have here. And if you want to access this value, 35, you have to pass through the key. And how do you write your dictionary? You use these brackets. Okay. So, and dictionary helps us hold much more information, unlike our list whereby everything can be written all together. as just one single list, though we have list of lists as well. Okay, so we have a scenario here that contains the details of a man. We're having Ayomide's info. We said, okay, Ayomide is the name. So the key is name, and then the value is what? Ayomide. Then we said Ayomide is aged 35 years. The key is what? Age, and then the value is 35. And we say, oh, Ayomide is yet to be married. You'll notice something. Yeah, after writing our key and value, we have a comma. We have another key and value, we have a comma. We have another key and value, we have a comma, and then another one. So if we should say, okay, print Ayomide info is going to give us this result. Okay, now we now want to look at the keys. So how do you detect, okay, what are the keys? I mean, what are the headers for this Ayomide's info? Then the keys are the name, which is the first one. Then you have the age, you have the marital status, and then you have the occupation. Yeah. However, if you want to see Ayomide's marital status, that is, you want to access Ayomide's marital status, you need to go through what? Through the key, which is the first one that comes here before the ratio sign. Okay, before the column sign. So how do you access that? You access it through a list. You say, okay, Ayomide info, grab me his marital status. Okay, so if I should run this now, you'd see I have occupation and I have marital status. It's going to tell me that what Ayomide is a single. If I should say, okay, I want to update Ayomide's list. Yeah, I want to change his occupation from plumber to fisherman. Okay, so let me just comment this and say change Ayomide's occupation to fisherman. All right. So here now, I'll just say, okay, Ayomide's info. I want you to edit it as a fisherman in the list. Then on running this, if I should say, okay, print Ayomide info again, I have the occupation being changed to fisherman. And the original one we had here was what? Was a plumber. Okay. So it's not kind of difficult. Just know that, okay, for list, you use square brackets. For dictionary, you use curly braces, and it holds a key and a value pair together. Okay. Do we have any questions? We are running late into the night, so we can go and prepare for tomorrow. Questions.
So far, sir, no question. Thank you so much for the class.
All right.
Um,
Your name, please.
Bolu as a professor.
All right. Thank you very much, Bulu Asefe.
hello, sir. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir. My name is Matthew, sir. I have a question, or how should I put it, sir? I joined late. Due
Okay.
to traffic, so I just got to not quite long, sir. So,
Wow. Sorry about that.
yes, sir. Please, sir. I don't know. Maybe there is a video, a recording for this, so I can actually go through, because this is my first time in Python class or thereabouts. So I don't actually have any knowledge of this. So I don't know how you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay. Very much. Okay. So as regards the recording, that will be communicated with us on the group chat. Okay. All right. So do we have any more questions? Hello.
So I guess there's no question from anyone, sir.
Okay. All right. If there's no question from anyone. Thank you for joining me this evening. We look forward to our engagement on the group chat. Okay. Please stay muted so I can deliver the closing words for the evening. So let's maintain our learning progress. Okay. So try to go through the notebook again. The notebook link is already on the group chat. So try to go over it and see what you can make out of it and progress in your learning journey. Okay. And we'll meet again. That will be on Wednesday by 9 a.m. Okay. If there's gonna be any change, that will be communicated to us 9 a.m. on Wednesday rather. And then for as many that might not be able to make it to the morning session, you are always welcome at the evening session from 7 p.m. Okay, so we thought we were gonna wrap up by 9, but here we are extending. And please let's all also come early. Okay, so I plead with us. I understand unexpected situations such as traffics and the like, weather condition. But let's try to come in early and push. Okay, so a very big thank you to our sponsors, IHS Towers, and the implementers of the Niger Youth Drive data training in our OVL Foundation and Kratos Sustainability Consult. I remain Abayomi Okunlola, joining from NASA 84 Labs. Thank you, everyone, and do have a great evening. See you. Welcome, Yusuf. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, everybody.
So much, sir.
All right, good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.